Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I have the privilege of sharing information with you on gut health tonight, and also product that LifeVantage, this company, has to offer that will give us this gut health. So let me introduce myself. My name is Kim Lawrence. I'm actually a scientist, a molecular biologist. I went to Mayo Medical School, and I have to tell you, it was initially my thought that I would become a physician and help patients. But you're going to see why I'm actually not doing that now and why um, what I'm doing I feel is so much more important than being a doctor. All right. So I'm actually going to be sharing videos tonight. So I'm not going to be speaking all that much, but you'll see uh, the first one is from Dr. Gundry, which many of you may have seen him on television. He's been on Dr. Oz and a number of different shows, and he does promote healthy things. So I'm going to show that video first. Okay, so here it comes.
Ever suffered from digestive issues or weight gain or brain fog or fatigue or achy joints or skin problems or cravings for sweets and carbs, or especially if you've suffered from several or all of these things, it is not your fault. And I encourage you to listen closely for the next few minutes. I will explain everything and the simple method I've used to help not just myself, but thousands of other people who swear by the simple protocol I'm about to share with you right now. Again, my name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, and I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon and celebrated nutritionist living in Palm Springs and Santa Barbara, California. I graduated with honors from Yale University and received my medical doctorate from the Medical College of Georgia. I spent 16 years as a professor of surgery and pediatrics and chairman of cardiothoracic surgery at the world-famous Loma Linda University School of Medicine. Along with my former partner Leonard Bailey, I performed more infant and pediatric heart transplants than any other doctor in the world. I'm the inventor of the Gundry retrograde cardioplegia cannula, one of the most widely used devices to keep the human heart alive during open heart surgery. I was one of the original 20 surgeons who tested the world's first artificial heart and one of the first to use robots in surgery. I've seen tens of thousands of patients with a spectrum of health issues, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, autoimmune conditions, diabetes, and obesity. But you may know me better from my appearances on shows such as Dr. Oz or interviews on news channels across America, or my online videos on health and wellness, which have over 50 million views. And according to my colleagues, this video is my most important video to date. I'm also the personal physician for legendary self-help guru Tony Robbins, who was kind enough to recently say, Dr. Gundry is one of America's greatest and most knowledgeable physicians, and for years I've had the good fortune to benefit from his care. Why do Tony Robbins, Fortune 500 executives, and thousands of other Americans come to me for help? The answer is simple. Because I'm willing to tackle medical issues that nobody else can fix. People come to me when they've been everywhere. Harvard, the Mayo Clinic, Stanford, UCLA, and they still can't find answers. Because I'm not afraid to try solutions that go against the grain. In fact, in my experience, many health professionals are often 10 to 20 years behind on the latest research and in some cases actually doing more harm than good. And that's why, after 16 years as chief of heart surgery, I left my position at Loma Linda University School of Medicine. Why did I do it? Why would a successful doctor leave a prestigious career and turn his back on conventional medicine? Well, the reason may shock you. I realized that much of what I had learned, much of what we were telling patients, was flat out wrong. Specifically, my research showed that many of the conditions I was treating, weight gain, poor circulation, deteriorating health, heart issues, even mental decline, they were all starting in a place nobody was talking about, the gut. My first hint that our intestinal tracts were far more important than people thought actually came when I was performing heart surgery back in the 1980s. Back then, I used to see a lot of people with plaque blockages in their arteries from years of smoking cigarettes. But usually, when we were bypassing the blockage, the rest of a smoker's arteries were perfectly clean. But as the years went by, I started seeing fewer smokers and more people with diabetes, high insulin levels, and obesity, which, as you may know, are all correlated with poor gut health. When we performed heart surgery on these people, it was far worse than the smokers' arteries. Their arteries were riddled with plaque blockages. We could barely find a blood vessel that was healthy. The surgeries, while successful, became far more difficult. I couldn't believe it. Literally, people who had smoked cigarettes every day of their lives had healthier hearts than people who were suffering from conditions associated with an unhealthy GI tract. So I began dedicating all of my research to learning everything I could about intestinal health. We all knew that poor intestinal health could lead to digestive discomfort, constipation, irritable bowels, and heartburn. But how could a malfunctioning gut lead to problems with your skin, your weight, your energy, your joints, your heart, and even your brain? Back then, nobody was asking the question. But today, thanks to years of research, we finally have the answer. You see, our GI tracts are very long. In fact, if you stretch your intestines out, they'd have more surface area than an entire tennis court. But they're also very thin. The lining of your intestines is actually just one cell thick, which is basically the thinnest thing that you can imagine. The gut walls need to be this thin because they act like high-tech sponges, sucking up all the nutrients and vitamins from the food you eat and sending the good stuff throughout your body. What's left over becomes food for your gut bacteria, which we refer to as your microbiome. They grow and make more bacteria, and what you deposit in the toilet as poop is, well, mostly loads of living and dead bacteria. So in short, this is how your gut works. You eat food. Your intestinal walls absorb the good stuff from the food, and what's left over gets eaten by your microbiome, which you then get rid of when you go to the bathroom. And when your gut is healthy, these gut walls do their job great, turning food into energy and getting rid of the poop smoothly and cleanly, like a brand new drain pipe in your bathroom. But here's the problem. Because these gut walls are so thin, they can sometimes tear. And certain things are especially good at causing tears. The worst of these are called lectins. Lectins are sharp, nasty little proteins found in certain kinds of food. Remember when I told you that whole grain bread is terrible for you? That's because those whole wheat grains contain lectins. The lectins are in those dark brown husks of the grain seeds. You can actually imagine them looking like smaller versions of those pointy little seeds. These sharp, microscopic lectins are also in the skin of several kinds of vegetables, including tomatoes, eggplants, and red bell peppers. And when these sharp lectins get into your gut, watch out, because they tear the lining of your gut walls, creating small holes. So if you have to eat bread, I recommend white sourdough, which has far fewer lectins than whole wheat alternatives. Speaking of lectins, think back to your bathroom now. Imagine you started flushing sharp nails down the toilet. Maybe you could flush one or two and be okay, but if you flushed handfuls of rusty nails for days or weeks, after a while they would scrape little holes in your pipes. Pretty soon, little bits of dirty water will start leaking out of the pipe into your walls, your floors, even your house's foundation. I know, this sounds pretty gross, but you need to hear it, because unfortunately, our GI tracts can develop leaks in the exact same way. This is what I and a growing number of experts now refer to as leaky gut. Lectins and other bad guys tearing holes in your gut lining, allowing tiny particles of poop to leak out into your bloodstream. And once this happens, you can start to see why leaky gut can cause so many health problems. Once they get into your bloodstream, these dirty particles storm across your entire body, like an invading horde. If these toxins get into your joints, they can cause aches and pain. If they get into your skin, they can cause itchiness, redness, acne, and rashes. If they get into your upper GI tract, they can cause heartburn and indigestion. And do you know the worst part? To your brain, all of these terrible things are perceived as attacks on your body, the same as if you have a virus. So your brain goes on high alert to threat level red to stop these attacks, sending white blood cells to fix the problem, which you can do for a while, but your brain just can't stay on threat level red all day, every day. Pretty soon, the cells that protect your brain from attack start to wear down. And when these glial cells in your brain are strained too hard, they actually cause your brain cells to expire. I probably don't have to tell you what happens when your brain cells stop working. Headaches, brain fog, and losing your mental sharpness are just the first signs of damage. But if these toxins are left to rampage through your body for months or even years, the damage can be far, far worse. If the thought of these health issues keep you up at night, believe me, I'm right there with you. So you can see why I now say leaky gut isn't just some small issue that causes digestive discomfort. In my opinion, it's actually a root cause of many, many of the issues that plague us, both physical and mental. Now, you may be wondering something about lectins. How can something supposedly healthy, like a tomato, be so bad for me? After all, haven't humans been eating these foods for our entire history? Actually, this is another myth. Your ancestors didn't eat any of these so-called health foods. You see, tomatoes, bell peppers, and eggplants weren't introduced to Western civilization until 1492, when Christopher Columbus discovered them in the New World and brought them back to Europe. That's right. Before Columbus, nobody in Italy had ever had tomato sauce, eggplant parmesan, or a single slice of pizza. Of course, Columbus had no idea these foods were packed with lectins, or the impact they could have on our GI tracts, which had never been exposed to the foreign foods before. Now, in the case of whole grain wheat, humans in general have been eating it a while longer, since farming began about 10,000 years ago. But even then, most societies historically removed the dark wheat husk and instead ate white bread, which is not a coincidence, because it's in the dark husk that gut-damaging lectins are contained. This is also why everyone in Asia, who have been eating rice for thousands of years, prefer to eat white rice, not brown. However, since about 1970, the use of supposedly healthy brown rice and whole wheat breads and pastas have skyrocketed in our society, thanks to successful marketing campaigns to rebrand these things as healthy, with virtually no evidence, I might add. Do you know what else has happened since 1970? The obesity rate has more than tripled. The diabetes rate has skyrocketed 800%. An astounding 70% of Americans are now considered overweight or obese, and I was one of them. As a heart surgeon, I simply couldn't get my mind around it. How could Americans with the best medical technology in the world, the richest economy, a gym on every corner, and an abundance of health foods on every grocery store aisle be suffering from so many health issues? Well, believe me, there is an answer, and there is a way to lose that weight, restore your energy, and fix the nagging health problems that are robbing you of your joy. A way to look and feel fantastic again, the way you should, and it all starts in your gut. Okay, on to the good news. Once I realized the importance of a healthy gut, I began to look at sickness in a completely different way. I was convinced that by unlocking the power of a renewed gut, we could find a sort of master key to better health and a longer, happier life. And perhaps the most important piece of the puzzle came when I began studying what researchers refer to as the blue zones. A blue zone is a nickname for the 5 places in the world that contain the most centenarians, people over 100 years old, of anywhere in the world. In these specific places, people not only live to be over 100, but they are routinely healthier, more mobile and active, look younger and have fewer wrinkles, and have dramatically lower incidence of disease than everywhere else on Earth. These locations are the Italian island of Sardinia, Okinawa, Japan, Loma Linda, California, where I once lived and worked as a professor at Loma Linda University, the Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica, the Greek island of Icaria, and in my research, I've identified 2 additional regions of super longevity: the Catavans in Papua New Guinea, and the residents of Acciaroli, a small town south of Naples, Italy. As you can imagine, researchers have recently become very interested in studying these places and figuring out the source of their incredible longevity. You might think researchers discovered these people are all eating the same diet or living similar lifestyles. Actually, the opposite is true. Just look at the differences. The Acciarolis eat fish and anchovies, huge amounts of rosemary and olive oil, drink a lot of wine, and eat no bread or pasta. Okay, so fish is good and bread is bad, right? Well, the Sardinians with extreme longevity live in the mountains, so they eat no fish, but they have goat cheese and goat meat and actually eat lots of bread. Now, the Nicoyan don't have fish or bread. Their staples include corn tortillas, beans, and rice. The Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda eat a lot of nuts and soybeans, and the majority of Seventh-day Adventists are vegetarians or vegans and have very healthy lifestyles. On the other hand, the Catawbans smoke tobacco like fiends and eat huge amounts of taro root, which is a carb, and coconut, which is a saturated fat. Yet, they are very skinny, have never had a documented heart attack or stroke, and regularly live into their 90s, without medical care, I might add. You can see why researchers have no idea what makes these people live so long. They couldn't be more different from each other. But I was surprised to learn that of all the research people had done on blue zone lifestyles, nobody had studied one important area. That's right, their gut health. You see, my own research and that of others has shown that gut health is correlated with long life. In 2017, my colleagues at King's College London discovered that people with Alzheimer's disease showed significant amounts of bad bacteria in their guts, and that it might actually be the bad bacteria causing the brain problems, not the other way around. And in one of the largest human gut studies of all time, over 1,000 healthy people from China were analyzed by researchers at Western University in Canada. This included young people, middle-aged people, elderly people, including a group of super-agers who were over 90, but still in fantastic health. What the researchers found in the guts of these super-agers was amazing, according to Dr. Greg Glore, the lead investigator. The main conclusion is that if you are ridiculously healthy and 90 years old, your gut microbiota is not that different from a healthy 30-year-old in the same population. That's right, the 90-year-old's secret wasn't just good genes or surgeries to make them look young. It was that their guts were young. Now, back to the people living in the blue zones. When I looked closely at their lifestyles and compared it to my own research on gut health, I began to notice something that nobody else had seen. Firstly, many of these cultures eat foods that contain lectins, which in theory can and does damage their gut walls. But when I studied their diets, I found something extraordinary. Each culture also eats specific foods that seem to counteract the bad effects from lectins. Let me repeat this because it's very important. Foods with lectins tear holes in our gut and destroy our health. But other foods exist that can help you naturally reverse the damage by actually repairing the gut. Even more amazing, it's not the foods themselves that do it. These foods feed certain bacteria so they can make a compound that helps your body naturally repair itself. And the repairman in your gut is an incredible compound called butyrate. Butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid. It's one of the most important substances in your entire body. In your gut, this superhero is in charge of many things. It's the main source of energy for your gut, fueling all those cells that line your intestines. It neutralizes inflammatory enzymes, meaning it soothes the gut walls. It's a powerful antioxidant, meaning it helps reduce the stress on your cells. And it's the preferred fuel for your brain and our mitochondria, whose job is to manufacture energy in every one of your cells. But most important of all, butyrate helps strengthen the cells in your gut lining. By nourishing your gut lining, it basically is tightening the junctions that connect every cell of your gut walls. So if the walls have holes or leaks, butyrate comes by like a repairman and helps your cells patch up the holes. In fact, butyrate also supports the mucosal lining of your gut, which is the protective barrier that keeps the walls safe and your digestion working right. If your gut was a broken deck, butyrate doesn't just help patch the holes, it throws in a few coats of weather sealant on top. So that's what butyrate does on a scientific level. But what does all that mean for you? Well, when you get into the human studies on the effects of butyrate, you quickly realize how incredible a compound this is, and the profound connection it can have to your weight, your digestion, and your overall health. In a landmark 2015 study in Spain, 113 people with digestive discomfort, constipation, diarrhea, and bloating had their gut health compared to 66 healthy controls. The people suffering from digestive issues all had significantly lower levels of butyrate, and the people without digestive issues had very high levels of butyrate. Butyrate was the difference between a healthy and unhealthy gut. This confirms a separate study out of the University of Pennsylvania that linked butyrate with a reduction of diarrhea. Not surprisingly, another study found that supplementing people who suffer from bowel issues not only provided a significant improvement, it worked for 100% of the study participants. Yes, 100%. But it doesn't end there. Butyrate can also support brain health. In fact, a 2011 study in Germany showed butyrate could even provide mental benefits to aging mice. Even better, butyrate can help manage blood sugar levels already within the normal range. So if you're someone who likes to keep an eye on your blood sugar, butyrate is a godsend. Butyrate also produces legendary ketones in the liver, which is not only great for liver health, it's an important aspect of many diets. For instance, you may have heard of the keto diet before, where people give up 100% of their carbs. Why do they do this? Because when they do, their body goes into overdrive, producing ketones, helping them lose weight. Well, butyrate produces ketones, all on its own, without giving up carbs. And speaking of weight loss, let's get into some really interesting aspects of butyrate. Everyone knows that exercise is healthy, but recent studies have now shown that when animals exercise, one of the main things they produce is, you guessed it, butyrate in the gut. So having improved butyrate in your gut means you have the gut of someone who exercises a lot, whether you actually exercise or not. Weight loss, more energy, reduced food cravings, liver health, brain health, saying goodbye to bloating, constipation, or other digestive discomfort. If it sounds incredible that all of this is associated with more butyrate in your gut, believe me, it is. But it's not surprising when you remember what's happening in the average American's body. We've been eating things that tear holes in our gut walls, including not just lectins, but also processed foods, sugars, and various fake health foods. Not to mention commonplace toxins that surround us, like glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, that tears holes in our guts and lets waste leak into our bodies. And we consume antibiotics far too often. Even though studies show every broad-spectrum antibiotic you take damages your gut health for a staggering 2 full years. When your gut is weak, these toxins create havoc on our health, storming across our body. But butyrate helps us fix the holes. It soothes the gut walls, and the more you have of it, odds are the better you're going to be. I can tell you, both as a doctor and my own patient, I now consider butyrate to be one of, if not the, most important health boosters in the human body. In fact, there's almost no aspect of your health, even your longevity itself, that butyrate doesn't play a massive role in. Okay, so how do we get more butyrate? Well, butyrate is made inside you, and it requires two things. The first thing you need is good bacteria in your gut. You may have heard of these good bacteria before. They're called probiotics. As you may know, your body contains trillions of bacteria. There's actually 10 bacteria cells in your body for every one human cell. In fact, you have about 4 to 6 pounds of bacteria inside you right now. Don't be grossed out. This isn't bad. In fact, without all that bacteria, you couldn't survive. According to Dr. Lita Proctor of the United States National Institutes of Health, humans don't have all the enzymes we need to digest our own diet. Microbes in the gut break down many of the proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates in our diet into nutrients that we can then absorb. Moreover, the microbes produce beneficial compounds, like vitamins and anti-inflammatories, that our genome cannot produce. These beneficial bacteria, which we call probiotics, are vital to human health. Damaging the probiotics in your gut has been shown in countless studies to have negative effects on your body. According to new data collected in 2016 by researchers at Harvard Medical School, imbalances in the gut microbiome, if left unchecked, can lead to all of the following: irritable bowel syndrome, including diarrhea, cramping, constipation, and fatigue, because gut microbes are vital to digestion in our intestines. Weight gain, due to a lack of probiotics that help control how much fat is stored in our bodies. Diabetes. It has long been known that diabetics have imbalanced gut microbes, but the Harvard researchers think this may not be a coincidence, but actually a causal factor. In short, an imbalance of beneficial bacteria in the gut is now shown in numerous studies to be a massively important part of human health. On the plus side, increased gut health has been linked to all of the following: slimmer waistlines, reduced cravings for sugar and carbs, improved skin issues, and even more energy. Probiotics even produce melatonin, the sleep hormone, so improved gut health is actually associated with better sleep. For years, doctors have known probiotics were helpful, but here's something surprising. If you caught most doctors in an honest moment, they would probably admit they didn't actually know why probiotics were so important. This is yet another example of the so-called status quo of medicine being behind the 8 ball. But now we finally understand that of everything probiotics do, one thing might be the most important of all. It turns out probiotics make butyrate. In fact, I now consider the production of butyrate to be the #1 most important aspect of probiotic bacteria. So, if you want more butyrate, the first thing you need is probiotics. But here's the thing no one will tell you. Probiotics alone won't get you butyrate. That's because to make butyrate, the probiotics need fuel. And that fuel is called prebiotics. The two things sound similar, but they're quite different. Probiotics are healthy bacteria, and prebiotics are what the bacteria eat. This is what most people don't understand about probiotics. They're actually useless without prebiotics. It's like a car with no gasoline, or a factory without electricity. Fuel is the key, and the more fuel you give your gut bacteria, the more butyrate they can make. And because of this, prebiotics have been shown to support massive health benefits, including all of the following. They reduce food cravings because prebiotic fiber makes you feel full. They soothe your intestinal tract because they create butyrate, the gut wall fixer. They create smoother, more regular bowel movements. Studies show that they help you lose weight. They even have a positive effect on heart health. All of this is caused by the benefits of prebiotics and butyrate in your gut. Okay, so what foods contain prebiotic fiber? Firstly, not all high-fiber foods actually have the best prebiotic fiber. For instance, broccoli and kale are high-fiber foods, and very good for you, but not high in prebiotic fiber. So what are the best foods for prebiotic fiber? Well, they're a little tougher to come by. My top 5 choices are chicory roots, asparagus, leeks, Jerusalem artichokes, and onions. These foods are all packed with the types of prebiotic fiber that feed the naturally occurring probiotics in your body and help them produce butyrate. And I'll give you 2 bonus gut boosters, walnuts and pistachios. You see, many nuts aren't nuts at all, especially peanuts, which are in fact beans. And these fake nuts are packed with dangerous lectins. But real nuts, like walnuts and pistachios, are superfoods that feed your gut buddies. In fact, studies show that consuming large amounts of certain nuts can boost heart health. And if you eat all of these foods every day, you're going to notice some big improvements in your health. But there's a few problems. Firstly, things like chicory and Jerusalem artichokes are tough to squeeze into your daily diet. And not everybody loves the taste of all these foods. Moreover, while eating these foods was probably enough for our ancestors to maintain a strong gut lining, modern humans are dealing with new problems. We eat processed foods crammed with sugar and chemicals, which destroy our gut lining. This includes things like the zero-calorie sweetener Splenda. According to a study at Duke University, a single packet of Splenda can destroy up to half of the probiotics in your gut. These foods are so commonplace, a staggering 74% of Americans now suffer from GI discomfort, which is probably why we also consume millions of capsules of over-the-counter pills to mask the symptoms of heartburn, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and stomach discomfort, which works in the short term. But here's another thing the health industry hasn't made clear. Over-the-counter remedies, the antacids, the chalky chewables, aren't just useless in helping you with issues of leaky gut. They are actually a primary cause of leaky gut. Yes, this fact has now been shown in multiple scientific studies, and not just one or two studies. Dozens of studies from the top researchers around the world, the United States, Japan, Italy, Britain, and others, have shown that these so-called digestion helpers actually reduce mucus in the gut lining. That means less protection from toxins and more tears. In fact, studies have also indicated that prolonged use of any of these over-the-counter products can actually be disastrous for your health. How can that be possible? How can companies be selling us things to help us that are actually hurting us? Of course, only they know for sure, but I have a theory, and you may already know my answer. Money. Over-the-counter pills and chewables are a multi-billion-dollar industry. And as I've said before, there is no profit in fixing someone's problem. This is just common sense. There is a lot of profit, however, in making sure it never goes away. For instance, did you know many chap lip products contain menthol, salicylic acid, and cinnamic aldehyde, all of which actually dry out your lips? If you have a friend who seems addicted to lip balms, this may be one reason why. The more you use it, the more you need it. And here's something that will make your jaw drop. There's a light bulb in a fire station in Livermore, California, that's been on for over 100 years. Yep, the Centennial light was originally hung in 1901 and has only been turned off a handful of times. Yet the filament is still working. How is it possible that a light bulb can last over 100 years? Well, what's amazing is that making a 100-year filament is actually easy. What's a little trickier is making thin little filaments that are guaranteed to break every year, so that people always need to buy more light bulbs. Imagine that. We could all have light bulbs that last our entire lives, and we could have had it for pennies with technology from 120 years ago. Except that big corporations don't want us to have it. They want us to literally stay in the dark. And I think the same goes for your gut. It seems to me that the world profits from you and I staying in the dark about the causes of our leaky gut, because some of the biggest corporations in our country make money off our health issues. If this makes you angry, you are not alone.
Right, so that's the portion of that video I wanted to show you, and there's another.
Ever suffered from
Oopsie, sorry. Hopefully it'll let me go to the next video. Oh, this is the next video. So let me preface this by letting you know there were a couple things I want you to remember from the first video. He talked about some plants like tomatoes, eggplant, peppers that have lectins that can be damaging to our gut. And those three are all in what's called the nightshade family. So if you know people who have problems eating nightshades, that's why, because of those lectins. Also, he talked about butyrate, which is a short chain fatty acid. I want you to remember that because the product I will be talking about will actually make short chain fatty acids for us. And then he also talked about the status quo being behind the eight ball, meaning that the medical industry was kind of behind in knowing about like different things like gut health, for example. And one of the reasons why, uh, you know, things are promoted is because of money. And you'll see from this video is about Rockefeller, who was a big oil mogul. And this is the reason why I'm actually not practicing medicine right now. When I went to Mayo Medical School, we had somebody who came in. He was so excited about his research, and he thought he had found the cure for cancer. And he was doing these experiments in mice that had no immune system, and they were injecting human tumors into these mice. So, since they had no immune system, the human tumors would grow, and they would give them this whatever that they found, and all the tumors would go away. And then the mice would continue to live their normal lifespan, and they were healthy during that time. So they didn't have side effects from this drug and the cancers. So they wanted to go into higher animals to do some more research. But when they applied for grants, they were told if that like the drug companies lobbied against it because they didn't want people to be cured from cancer. So they were told that if they decide they weren't going to get government funding, but the government basically told them if they went out and got private funding, their license to practice medicine would be taken away. So that's one of the reasons why I decided I didn't want to be in that business, but I still want to help people. So that's why I love what I'm doing right now. So you're going to learn about Rockefeller and what he did and why our medical system is the way it is today. Let's see, start it.
Around the same time that John D. Rockefeller seized U.S. media, he also hijacked U.S. medicine. When it was discovered that drugs could be produced from petroleum, America's top oil mogul ordered his army of propagandists to invert reality accordingly. Medicines used for thousands of years were suddenly classified as alternative, while the new, petroleum-based, highly addictive, and patentable drugs were declared the gold standard. After buying a German pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler, Rockefeller leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities unscientific quackery. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association and began offering massive grants to top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum be taught. Any mention of the healing powers of herbs, plants, and diet was erased from most medical textbooks. Doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plan were crucified by the media, removed from the AMA, and stripped of their license to teach and practice medicine. Those who dared to speak out were arrested and jailed. When evidence began to emerge that petroleum-based medicines were causing cancer, Mr. Rockefeller founded the American Cancer Society, through which he suppressed that information. John D. Rockefeller is duly credited as the founder of the pharmaceutical industry, and the reason that medical error is currently the third leading cause of death in America. This is not an indictment against doctors. More than anyone, they are under the stranglehold of the single largest lobbying power in Washington. Every year, the pharmaceutical industry spends at least twice the amount as big oil to influence laws, policies, and public perception. Thanks to Mr. Rockefeller, the architect of American monopolies, no industry has more power over our lives than Big Pharma.
So there it is. Okay, so hopefully it will advance. Okay, all right. Now I get to tell you about what I really love. And that is, I am a lover of the Bible. And so this is one of my favorite verses coming from Psalm 139. And it basically says that our bodies are wonderfully made. Did you know that your body has the blueprint in your own DNA that can help keep you healthy? It absolutely does. So our company, Life Vantage, it's amazing. So we have a product that needs a voice. I'm not going to be talking too much about it tonight, but it's basically the only product in the world that's been scientifically proven to activate protective enzymes inside the body to reduce the damage caused by oxidative stress. You can't get anything like this anywhere else in the world but from Life Vantage. And our products are amazing because they do what's called activate. They activate at the DNA level. And we have a catchphrase, take it to make it, because when we do this, we're going to empower our bodies to make things to keep us healthy. And they can be antioxidants, proteins, enzymes. They can be lots of different things. All right, so we have products that will activate many different parts of the body, different systems, different organs, but we're going to be talking about mostly about the gut tonight. I am going to just touch on a few things before we get into that, though. Okay, so I'm sharing this proper disclosure because I am going to just talk just a little bit about the potential to earn money through this company, but also want to let you know that what I'm going to tell you about the products have not been evaluated by the FDA. We do not say that our products intend to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate any disease. All right, so LifeVantage has been around for more than 20 years. We're publicly traded, debt-free. We have multiple patents, and that's almost unheard of for for products that are all natural. So our products are amazing, all natural, and there's patents on them. So if you've ever heard of Erin Brockovich, that's the caliber of people that we have on our board of directors. So she actually sought out our company to serve on the board of directors, which she did for more than 5 years. She's an environmental activist and consumer advocate. And if you decide that you would like to do business, I do have to change this, but I believe we are now in 28 different countries. And I include this. It's an income disclosure statement, which is available since we are publicly traded. Anybody can look this up. And the second column here basically tells the average monthly commission paid at the ranks that are listed here on the left. And then the final column here is the average number of months to achieve rank. And obviously, I mean, some of you probably, you're not looking to make a lot of money, but maybe a little bit of money. So whether you want to earn enough to pay for your own personal products by casually referring it to others, or earn a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s each month, or even if you dream about building a team to earn massive global income, the opportunity is available to you right now. So take a look at this. So if you're just looking to get your products paid for, most people are probably paying for products somewhere in this area here. So, and it can just take you a couple of months to make it to earn this to cover your products. And when I looked up people who have foreclosures on their homes, or businesses, or whatever, declaring bankruptcy, the difference was about $300 a month. If they had that extra $300, they wouldn't have had to claim bankruptcy, or they wouldn't have had to foreclose on their house. But check it out, to earn that $300, it might just take you only 4 months if you're serious about doing this as a business. So it can be very life-changing, the amounts of money that you can make. And like I said, there are people who are earning this over $130,000 a month. That's average. Obviously, people are going to be making more or less. So this is the range at that at presidential consultant. You could be making somewhere in the neighborhood of $68,000. That's not chump change. To over $330,000. And that usually takes about 52 months. That's the average number of months to achieve that rank. So I'm just going to touch on this, but basically, this is our flagship product, Protandim. If you've ever heard of oxidative stress, it's known to cause, I believe it's now over 400 different diseases. And it will lower the average oxidative stress in a person by 40% in just 1 month. And look at the ingredients: turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, ashwagandha. Most people know those are healthy ingredients. And then we also have over 30 peer-reviewed journal publications. If you go to pubmed.gov, there are 28 of them listed there. So if you type in Protandim NRF2 and any kind of disease, you'll probably find an article on that. Um, but look at so we didn't pay for all this research to be done. People wanted to get their hands on it after ABC News did a prime time on it, and they couldn't believe that it actually did lower by 40% in just a month. So they wanted to get their hands on it. Some people did research on cell lines in petri dishes. Some people did research in animals. Some people did research on humans. So, but look at the places, prestigious places like Harvard University, American Heart Association. So literally, every place that got their hands on our product and did their research, it showed exactly what we said. It lowered oxidative stress, so it produced healthier animals, healthier cells in petri dishes, and healthier people. So it's scientifically proven. So it's amazing. All right. So remember I said we have that phrase, take it to make it. So you want to take our flagship product, Protandim NRF2, if you want to make antioxidants. But here's the difference between eating healthy. I mean, I'm still going to tell everybody to eat as healthy as possible and taking this. This is more than a million times more powerful than anything that you can supplement with or any healthy eating you can do. So it's literally, it's amazing. It's life-changing. It's totally transforming. And this was stated by Washington State University that NRF2 activation, which that product, Protandim NRF2, does, is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So totally, totally amazing. And remember, we're talking about gut health tonight. So Hippocrates, who is known as the father of modern medicine, basically said that all disease begins in the gut. So if we can keep our gut healthy, then we will be able to stay healthy. So, and not have disease. So this product, P84, is a new product that we have because we got together with Love Biome. And so we are the activation company. I want you to keep that in mind. This is not just a supplement. But remember from that original video that I showed that Dr. Gundry talked about how butyrate can help heal the gut. So this is not only going to help you produce butyrate, but many other things that will help you regulate, repair, and restore the gut. So there's actually two parts to this, Phytopower 1, Phytopower 2, and P84 stands for, the P stands for Phytopower or phytonutrients, and 84 stands for 84 different ingredients. So this is in Phytopower 1, Essential Whole Foods. And I don't know if you remember, but he said that there were five different ingredients that were prebiotics, and he listed chicory root, asparagus, leek, Jerusalem artichokes, and onions. And I want to show you here that asparagus and leeks are included. So that is 2 out of 5 of the components that he thought were the best things. But look at all these other healthy things for you. And you know, the more that you are eating from the colors of the rainbow, the healthier your gut is going to be. You want to diversify your foods because that will help diversify the bacteria in your gut as well. So these are the probiotics that are in our Phytopower 1. So there's actually 20 billion CFUs, colony forming units, and it has Jerusalem artichoke. That was one of the ones that he also talked about. But it also has inulin and baobab. So these are wonderful prebiotics that are going to feed these and make them grow. But guess what? We also have postbiotics, which are digestive enzymes, which will help break down the food. Remember, he said as we age, we're not making as much to break down the food. And he also said that our own bodies don't produce that. We need to have bacteria that produce things that will help break down the foods that we eat as well. But this contains digestive enzymes, so we are going to break down the food that we eat. All right, and then this is step two. So we're going to detox and balance. And guess what? This contains, where is it? I think it's over here. It contains chicory root. So that was his number one food to feed the bacteria. So, and it also has more healthy probiotics here. And these are another 20 million colony forming units. So there's 40 million altogether when you take Phytopower 1 and 2 together. So literally, we are going to help regulate, repair, and restore the gut. So we don't have to worry about leaky gut after we take this because we're not only going to be producing butyrate, we're going to be producing lots of different short chain fatty acids. So we want to take P84 to make enzymes, peptides, short chain fatty acids, and vitamins. Remember, he said that those probiotics are going to help our bodies produce vitamins for us too. So this product is so amazing. And I know I felt the difference after one day, but you have to remember, I am already activated with other products. So once our bodies are activated, I think it helps when we add something new. It's going to work a lot quicker. All right. So why is this different? It's activation. Remember, you're going to activate your own DNA, which is inside your body, inside your cells, to produce the things that you need to keep you healthy. And the Healthy Edge Stack will contain both the Protandim NRF2 and the P84. And this is what I like to call your defense, and this is your offense. And if you remember, he said if you take any broad spectrum antibiotic, it takes 2 years to rebuild your gut bacteria, healthy ones. So, I mean, I think you should do everything in your power to keep your cells as healthy as possible, which is this is going to help protect your cells from damage and keep your gut as healthy as possible. This is going to keep your gut as healthy and balanced as possible. So you're going to take the Healthy Edge stack in order to make antioxidants and gut peptides and everything else, the short chain fatty acids, the vitamins, and etc. So, all right. So why might you want to do business with LifeVantage? Well, we are basically the world's largest distributor of the most powerful protector for free radicals, but we are the activation company. There's no other company like us out there. And as a matter of fact, I guess I didn't even know this, but we have a relatively new CEO. And he said in his tenure that he's been with us for a few years, he's had over 30 companies that have approached him to become part of us. And none of them had activators. So he said no. So Love Biome's product actually activates the body. So that's why we partnered with them. All right. So at this point, you might be ready to start your own transformation and wonder how you can get activated. Well, there's two different ways. You can become a customer, which is there's no charge to become a customer. So you will just pay either retail price for your products, or if you get on a subscription, you can save 10%. And a subscription can come to you every month, every 2 months, or every 3 months. And if you get on a monthly subscription, you can join the reward circle, which means a portion of your product purchase will go towards credit on future orders. So if you decide to become a consultant to do the business, there's a $50 annual fee, and you'll pay wholesale price for the products, which is 20% off of retail. Plus, you can earn commissions on people that you sign up either as customers or consultants. There's travel and other kinds of perks as well. Plus, you'll have your own free business website to get started. All right, so I'm going to just play this really quick video on the business.
When looking to earn extra income, let's be honest, you've got options. Many add long hours to your day with little reward. The time, money, and stress involved with starting a traditional side business can quickly equal burnout or worse, failure. Meanwhile, you're busy with competing priorities. Costs and inflation are on the rise. And at the end of the month, there's still never enough. So what can you do about it? You may think you know what direct selling looks like, but the world has changed, and direct selling has evolved. With direct sales, you can be present for the moments that matter. You can start your own business and make a difference without significant investment. You can earn income, leveraged income that covers the little things, and more importantly, with hard work, maybe even the big things. Whether you are a person who loves to help others, an influencer looking to serve, or an entrepreneur craving something bigger, partner with the company who pioneered activation, a groundbreaking approach to wellness. Activation goes beyond supplementation. Key nutrients activate your body to do what it was born to do. Unlock the possibilities by sharing these patented, award-winning products. No hype, no gimmicks, just a better approach to wellness through revolutionary science. Learn from others working their business. Your pathway to success is proven in their growth. Your business? It fits in your life, and you've got a thriving, vibrant, supportive community ready to run beside you. Work when you want, how you want, with commissions of up to 40% on every order. And when others see and feel the results activation can make in their own lives, they'll want to share it. Get paid for your work and your team's work. As your business grows, so do your bonuses and commissions. Get paid daily, weekly, and monthly. Your income potential? It's as big as your goals. Exclusive trainings, gifts, and travel experiences are waiting for you too. We're a publicly traded company, and we take care of the hard parts. Manufacturing, inventory, packing, shipping, even processing payments, so you can focus on having fun and changing lives, including your own. Evolve your income, evolve your life. Imagine the possibilities. Your solution is here. Your activated life is right in front of you, and there's no reason to wait. Connect with a consultant who shared this with you and start your activated business today.
Uh-oh. Okay, so it's not, let me see. Let me do this. Maybe that'll work. Oh, yay. Thank you. All right. So, if you want to get started doing the business, this is the pack that we're recommending right now. There are many other ways that you can get started doing the business, but the Healthy Edge pack has both of these products that I talked about, the Protandim NRF2, our flagship product, and the P84. You'll get a month worth of each of these, plus you'll get your own personal website and tools, etc., to start your business. So, we recommend that people start with a pack if you're going to do the business, and then pick a stack for a monthly order. This might be the perfect model for you to become part of because you can work from home or anywhere. You'll have a virtual office. There's minimal business assets necessary. So you don't have to go out and rent office space. And if you're actually using your home as your office, you can write part of that off as a business expense. So there's no inventory requirements because you'll have your own website that people can order off of. There's a low entry cost. So you saw what you could potentially make, and your entry cost could be $250 or even less than that, depending on which um, products you decide to start with. You can, if you're already doing social media, you can share and earn business that way. Like I said, you'll have your own personal online store, plus there's many bonuses and travel. So where do you go from here? Well, if you need more information, be sure to ask the person who invited you here tonight. I'm sure they'd be happy to share more information with you. If you'd like to become a customer, you are going to love your transformation and how your life is going to change for the better. So not only will you feel better on the inside, but most people wind up looking better. Dr. Gundry talked about losing weight. Now, we don't usually talk about that, but many people who've been on that P84 product wind up losing weight because their gut is healthier. So you'll also wind up looking better, not just feeling better. Refer others. If you know others that need to hear this information, make sure to get back to the person who invited you here tonight and let them know who these people are, and they'll invite them to come to a presentation just like this. And if you decide that you want to join the team and become a consultant, we say, woohoo! Welcome to the family. And literally, that's how I feel about this company. I feel like it's like family. So, actually, when my upline decided that she wanted to pursue different things other than her business. She wanted to get more into her volunteer work. I was adopted by somebody else, another sideline, and I'm still able to be fed with business news. So it's amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful family to become part of. All right, so at this point, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight because there's one commodity that we all have the same amount of, and that's time. And to me, time is so precious. So the fact that you are here tonight and you spent your time with me, I hope that you found that it was something valuable. And I think let me see, I'm gonna change my background if it's gonna let me do this. Yes. And I just want to share before I close out that this is our actual mission of our group is to move families forward with better health and finances. So literally it's an amazing business. It's an amazing company, and the people who work here, we're all in it to help one another. So I hope you will consider it because you're going to feel so much better. And like I said, you'll probably look better too. So take some before and after pictures. We love to post those. And if you're looking for better finances, I don't know of a better way to do it than this. So, okay, at this point, I am going to stop my share. Okay. And I'm going to stop the recording.